Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and it's time to take a look at the latest phone from Poco, the X6 Pro, and they also sent over the M6 Pro. I will unbox this probably a little bit later on, but we're going to focus on the X6 Pro for now. Now, Poco focuses on bringing some flagship-like specs to a phone that they really competitively price, so it's really fun to see what the price is. I don't quite know what that will be. I will make an annotation or drop a comment down below what the exact pricing is once Poco announces it. But anyways, you have MediaTek's Dimensity 8300 Ultra chipset inside, so it is a 5G device. You also have a triple camera setup, and this is the first time they've used an optical image stabilization lens in their main sensors, so that'll be fun to try out. You also do get an AMOLED display at 120 Hertz and more, so we are going to take a quick look what comes in the box of this phone, and then of course get some hands-on with the new device from Poco. Let's get started. Here is the new X6 Pro from Poco, a 5G device. Opening up the box, the signature yellow, black, and yellow box that Poco always uses. Let's see what we get inside. A SIM ejection tool, quick start guide, warranty information, plus a case which will cover up the buttons, and then an opening for the camera module. It does bend a little bit, but always nice when there's an extra in the box. Next, we have the device itself, pointing out some of the main specs: that MediaTek Dimensity 8300 Ultra, 120 Hertz AMOLED display, 67 watts charging, 5000 milliamp hour battery. Setting the phone to the side for just a second. You do get a 67 watt charging brick via USB Type A. There's just a quick look at the stats there, plus a USB Type A to USB Type C cable for charging. And on to what you came to see, the X6 Pro from Poco. You'll notice very reflective back. This is the black color. Now I'm going to boot up the phone for the first time, and while it turns on, we're going to take a closer look at the hardware. Very flat sides, I'm noticing with holding it, because it does have a flat display. So down at the bottom we have a SIM card slot, a microphone, USB Type-C port 1 of our speakers. Moving along on the right side here is where that power button and volume rockers are. Fairly minimal camera bump with that camera module overall. Up towards the top, another microphone. There's an IR blaster there and another one of our speakers. And then along the left side, absolutely nothing. On the back of the phone just says 5G, and then moving up, some Poco branding, 64 megapixel OIS. On top of that 64 megapixel main lens, you have an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens and then a 2 megapixel macro lens. Not a big fan of the macro lens in general. I do wish they would have included a telephoto. Our phone's all booted up. I'm gonna run through the startup process and just talk about anything that's noteworthy. You have the option for face unlock, but we are going to set up the fingerprint scanner. A quick note that screen protectors may affect the fingerprint scanner, but there is a pre-installed one. I'd recommend just keeping that on if you'd like, but we are going to set our finger down, just a subtle vibration. The vibration motor seems pretty solid overall after typing with the keyboard, and now feeling it when setting our thumb down. It's a little bit lower than some other phones, so it will take just a tiny bit to get used to the specific placement. In the setup, it asks if you'd like to switch fonts to their Mi Sans. That is just a personal preference, whatever you'd like. You have the option for an app drawer or not, and I believe that's everything in the startup. We are all ready to go. There we go, just peeling that off. I'd recommend keeping yours on. I just peel it off because it's fun for me. A close look at the 6.67-inch 1.5K resolution AMOLED display with a 120 Hertz refresh rate. You also get an 1800 nits peak brightness. I can already tell that the higher refresh rate is enabled out of the box. To double check that display and brightness, scroll down, refresh rate set to default, so it will automatically switch depending on the type of content shown. You can go to custom, 460 Hertz or 120 Hertz. Battery life will be affected if you use the higher refresh rate. I know I mentioned it earlier, but this phone's pretty comfortable to hold. I noticed a lot of real estate on the sides because of that flat display. This phone does have an IP54 rating, in case you were wondering, but let's test out that in-display fingerprint scanner. A subtle vibration when you unlock it. Seems to be really quick and fast. Thankfully, most are these days, and also you don't need to turn on the screen. Now let's open up the camera app and just quickly take a couple quick shots. See the shutter speed seems to be really quick. And this is the first OIS lens that Poco has used with that 64 megapixel main sensor. Again, you can go to the ultra wide angle lens or zoom in 2x, but this is just digital zoom. There isn't actually a dedicated 2x lens. In terms of video, you can shoot all the way up to 4K 60, nope, just 4K 30. You've got a portrait mode, night mode, and here's a look at some of the other ones. If you want to take advantage of all 64 megapixels, you do have a mode. And then if you swipe down, you get to more settings. You can choose macro there. So when you choose macro, you should be able to put an item close to that dedicated lens right there. So there you go. See how close the subject can get to that lens. I also noticed there's a good amount of pre-installed applications, just more than I'm used to on this device. Jumping into settings, you can customize it with wallpaper, themes, and then going into additional settings, you have a group of gesture shortcuts that you can use for taking screenshots, 3 fingers, launching the camera, turning on flashlight, etc. Also, don't try this, but you can set it up vertically and stand on its own. Don't do that. So anyways, that's the X6 Pro from Poco. Again, their way of bringing some flagship type specs in their device at a more competitive price. So drop a comment, let me know what you think. It's fun to see, you know, the path that Poco's on and just year over year with the new devices they come out with. Be sure to subscribe, a lot more content coming soon. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching.